Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the People Strategy Power Hour. This is our very first session, and I am super excited to go live with all of you. I've got Facebook in front of me, I've got Instagram over here, and I'm absolutely thrilled to spend some time with you today. And I'd love it if you would send your questions, your thoughts, your comments, anything that you are struggling with in regards to your people strategy, your talent management strategy. This is all about how we build business through our teams and our people, and how we create incredible workplace cultures that attracts the best and actually brings the best out of everyone so that we can actually grow our small businesses. So just to kick off, for those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Lindsay White. I'm a leadership coach and people strategy expert, and I work with entrepreneurs and small businesses to help them attract and grow and lead incredible teams so that they can really drive, results in their business. And this is a piece of work that is super important to me. I've spent over 20 years working in human resources and strategic talent management. And this goes beyond getting people paid, getting them hired, getting them fired. This is about how we create incredible high-performing teams that ultimately drive performance. And when we talk about people strategy, it's really about how we approach that intentionally, how we approach that strategically, and how we really think very carefully about building that strategy for our organizations. And it's particularly important in our small ones because every person counts. Every human that we add to our small teams makes an incredible difference, and we need them all to deliver. So that's why I am doing this today. And I'm going to go live again on December 15th at this very same time, 10 a.m. Mountain and noon Eastern, because I know that this is a piece that is so often missing. So thank you for joining me. I appreciate seeing you all online, and I'm so glad you can be here today. One of the questions I had asked earlier this week was, what is a people strategy? What does that look like? Why do I need one? And this came out of a group that I'm a part of as a small business owner and an entrepreneur. And I thought it was a beautiful question. So just while people are joining the conversation and adding their questions, I thought maybe that's where we would start today, is talking about, what is a people strategy? And I think it's a really present conversation. I think it's something that is so important to talk about, especially right now. It's December the 1st. And for those of us that are small business owners, we are already thinking about wrapping up our year. It's Q4. Where are we landing with our business results this year? How are we doing compared to our 2023 plan? And of course, what do we need to do in 2024? What are those big goals? What are the expectations? What's the revenue we want to drive? What's the results that we really want to create? And so it's the perfect time to be talking about, what is a people strategy? Why is it important? Why do I need one? So first and foremost, what is a people strategy? What does that even mean? Sounds kind of complicated, to be realistic, but it's not. A people strategy is one of the key pieces that needs to form your business plan. And it's interesting. I was actually on Canva the other day. I love Canva. I use it all the time. And I was looking for a template. And one of the things that I noticed is that in their templated business plans, they have, they'll have 10 or 12 pages. And in that business plan, they'll talk about vision and mission and values. They'll talk about goals. They'll talk about results. They'll do some graphing. They'll talk about marketing strategy. That's a big piece. They'll talk about raising capital, or what's the strategy for expenses, right? That financial strategy. But the piece that was always missing in all the templates that I saw was the people strategy. And the people strategy, simply put, is the intentionality. It is the plan that you put around the talented humans that are doing the work in your business. And so it's absolutely key that along with our marketing strategy, along with our capital strategy, along with our financial plan, that we actually think just as intentionally about the people that we need in order to execute those things, right? So when we think about a marketing plan, and this is very present for me because I'm working on mine as well. We think about a marketing plan, we want to have a strategy as the overarching piece, right? We really want to think strategically about what do we want to accomplish with our marketing. And then we build in the plans underneath, the tactical execution. Well, the people strategy is the same piece. What do we want these people to do in our business? Really thinking about what are the outcomes? What are the deliverables? What are the results? That's the strategic piece. And then we can build the plans and the programs underneath to really support that. And so that's really what people strategy is at the heart. It's just creating an intentional plan for how you want to resource with talented people the plans that you're making in your business right now. And the truth is, as I said, it is so often the piece that gets missed. And that's my mission, is I'm going to change that. I want every small business to have a people plan. And that can be just the people plan to add one person. In fact, that's where we really get started. So why is this important? Well, because when we don't think intentionally about the people, we tend to make really, serious mistakes, right? We hire the wrong person, or we hire the right person and we don't have them doing the right work, so we're not leverage them properly. We may be overpaying or over-resourcing work that's actually not adding the value that we need, right? So we actually get into a space where we're reacting as opposed to being strategic. And of course, as we build our business and grow our organizations, we really need, as business leaders, to be thinking about those pieces very strategically. And I will tell you, it's something that happens often for my clients. It's something people bring to me very frequently, is that they have hired the wrong human. They have hired them without clearly understanding what they need them to do, when they need them to do it, how they want them to execute, and then being clear about how they want them to deliver and who they need to be in order to lead that human being. And so this just isn't about us as individuals. It's really about the people that we add to the business. And I would also tell you, it's important that we have a people strategy because it's not just about skills and experience. Those are important. Please don't get me wrong. When we're looking to add people to our business, we want to know that they have the right skills and the right experience. We'll talk about how we can make sure that we do that right inside of our people strategy. But we also want to make sure that the right person, they've got to fit with us and the culture we are creating. And again, if we're not intentional about that, we can make some serious mistakes. And those mistakes cost us time and they cost us money. They can ultimately cost us clients and work that's very valuable. So that's why we want to have a really robust people strategy. Now, you might be thinking this could be complicated, right? When we hear the word strategy, I think I do anyways, automatically think it's got to be complicated. Well, the truth is it doesn't actually have to be. And that's what's really fun about this, is that your people strategy can start out quite simple. It's something that can be created in a very short period of time, but just with some intentional thought and a little guidance. Because for most of us, we've never even thought about creating one before. So we're going to talk a little bit about that here today. And I actually have a custom designed people strategy planner. I put it together just to be able to share with you all today. And of course, 2 Fridays from now, to really help you think in that strategic and intentional way. So I'm actually going to, I'm going to pop that into the chat, because I have this actually that I can send to you. And I'm excited actually for all of you to take a look at this. Let me just put it in here right now. And if you are on Instagram, I will share it as well with you. I just can't reach over and do that right this minute. But it's actually just a really lovely opportunity to think in a really meaningful way about what your strategy might look like. And I think it will be really, really valuable for you. So let me just put that in the chat for you. There we go. So you can see that. So one of the first things we want to do when we start thinking about what our people strategy might look like is we actually really need to go back to basics. We need to think about what are the values in our business? What are the important things that we bring to our business? So could be something like integrity, could be honesty, could be delivering excellence. Those are all, values I hear quite frequently from organizations. And so, step number one is thinking about those foundational pieces of, sort of why we do what we do, what makes us, what makes us cohesive and what we deliver. So that's really the most important part. So if you have not done that work, the plan or the playbook will actually help you articulate that. But I think that part is important. Identifying the values, not only important for us as business owners, it is a foundational part of any organizational culture. Again, if you have 2 people or you have 200 people or you have 2,000 people, understanding the values of the business is really key to help create that really cohesive culture that people can really feel like they belong in. So that's always step number one. Step number two is really about understanding your purpose. So that gets into those pieces of vision and mission. And that's not just about creating a really lovely phrase that's, fun to say or lives on a poster on the wall. That's really about, why does your business exist? What are you here to do? What are you creating in the world? Right? Why are you delivering these things? Why are you doing all this hard work? And when we can really invest in what is that mission, and then as business owners, we can be really articulate about our vision. What that does is actually help us find the right people. Again, not just about skills and experience. That's great. It's about finding the right fit. Who are the people that can actually see your vision? They can connect to that. They get it. It's also about how we talk about it as a leader. That's a different conversation than today. But when we can bring our vision, our mission, and our values to our people strategy, we can be very sure that we are actually finding the right humans to bring into our business. They're going to fit with what we're doing. They're going to understand it. They're going to connect to it in a meaningful way. And again, they're going to feel like they belong inside your organization. And ultimately, what happens when people feel like they belong, they deliver better work. They will work harder for you without being asked because they intuitively get it. They really understand. Okay, so that's number one. That's the very basic part of our people strategy. And for most of you, you probably already have your values articulated. You know what your mission is, and you likely have a very clear idea of what your vision is for your business, what you're creating. So that is the foundational pieces. And if you have any questions about any of those, I'd love it if you would pop them into the chat. Please let me know if that's something that you need to clarify, that you're struggling with a little bit, or maybe they need to change because they do evolve. Pop that into the chat. Would love to answer those questions on this live today. The second piece of our people strategy then really needs to revolve around our business plan. What are the results we're trying to create? And that's really what a business plan is all about. What are the goals? What are the actions? And what are the accountabilities? And when we're clear on that business plan, then we know what we're trying to build, right? Makes perfect sense. And again, for many of you, you've probably done business planning before in a variety of environments and in a variety of different ways. And so being intentional and articulate about what we want to create, how we're going to create it, when we're going to create it, like really answering those, so sort of 5W questions, gives us a greater sense of direction. And it gives us something to really wrap our arms around as we move through the months and the quarters and, of course, the full year. So again, I'm sure lots of you are actually head down, nose deep in your 2024 business planning as we speak. And what's really powerful about combining that with some of the foundational pieces that include our values and our vision is that when we bring the two things together, not only can we understand who we need to add to our business, we can actually really connect that with when we need to add them and the results we need them to create for us. That's what's really powerful about a people strategy in an organization. Then we are thinking ahead. We are understanding that in Q2, I have this program that I want to launch, or I have this product I'm going to need to start creating so I can launch it for that Christmas season, that Black Friday sale we came through just a big week ago. When I can combine those two things together, I'm leading my business at a different level. And I'm able to think very clearly and again, very strategically about who I need to add, what they're going to show up like, the work I'm going to have them do, the accountabilities that are going to be important in enabling them to actually deliver for me. So I can show up better as a leader. I can be really clear with someone. I can also think strategically about my recruitment process, right? So very often I hear from business owners that they get caught with their pants down, right? I've got more work than I know what to do with. Now I need to hire, but I don't have time to do it. And so we use what I call the pulse test, which is, do you have a pulse? Great, you're hired. In fact, that does not work out very often, if ever. We need to actually think in advance about who we're going to bring into our business. And again, what not only what they're going to do for us, but how they're going to fit with how we work. And if we have other team already, how they work. How do they fit with our processes and our programs? How did I need to lead them so that I can actually step up? So this is how our people strategy actually fits beautifully. It just nestles right underneath our business plan, right alongside our marketing strategy, our capital plan, right? Our goals for the year, our quarterly plans, and then our people strategy just fits right in there. They're like nesting dolls, right? They just fit together beautifully to create something that we can have real pride in. We can feel really confident about the execution of. We can feel powerful and in control and intentional about how we are going to lead that and ultimately how our business is going to grow. Okay, so I see there's a few of you on the chat today. If you have any questions about that, please, just fire those into the chat. Would love to answer any thoughts or questions that you have as we move through here. If you're opening and looking at the people strategy playbook that I designed for you, and you're thinking, geez, I just don't understand what she's talking about here in this section, absolutely feel free to fire that into the chat as well. Super important that you feel confident and comfortable with this information as everywhere you go. Oh, there's a little music going on. That's great. It is a Christmas season. I'm wearing my Christmas t-shirt.
Angel, I am in Paris.
Which is absolutely fantastic. I love that it's finally December, can really start to embrace all of the Christmasness that I think, so many of us really love. Okay, so as you all are jumping into the chat, I want to talk a little bit about what the outcomes are. What's the ROI here on a people strategy? And I think there's a few big pieces here that are impactful. So first of all, the ROI of hiring the wrong person. And if you've done that before, you know that there is an incredible expense that goes along with actually having the wrong person on your team. So the most common stat is that it costs you about 3 months of salary when you hire the wrong person. And I actually think that that's an understatement. So when we bring the wrong people into our business, whether we're just starting out and we're hiring that very first individual, or whether we're adding someone to a pre-existing team, what happens is we actually create long-lasting ripple effects. So I'll give you an example. I had a client just a couple of weeks ago that they really believed that they needed to hire a VA, that they needed a virtual assistant, that this was someone that they absolutely had to have in their business. And it was a message that they had received from a number of different angles, particularly online, but also in groups that they were a part of, that they just needed a virtual assistant. And so they went and they found someone, and they felt pretty good initially. But the truth was, the wheels started to fall off that relationship pretty quickly. First of all, because this client hadn't been very clear and strategic about what were they going to get this person to do? What was this VA actually going to be accountable for inside the business? The second thing is they hadn't articulated the results that they were looking for. So they didn't know what success looked like. And the truth is, I don't think the VA actually knew what the success markers were either. And so they were both very, very confused, and it created some conflict. I think that, the third thing that was really, really difficult is that they were unclear about who that human was, and that they were going to work pretty closely with. And so there ended up being a values conflict that really got in the middle of the relationship. So the business owner and their new VA that they hired really did not have alignment on what they cared about the most. So the business owner was really someone who wanted high integrity in the work that their VA was delivering. And that VA did not understand what integrity was in that context. They really didn't get it. And so it ended up being a catastrophe. It cost the client time, it cost them money. So not only did they lose time on a project that was a really important deliverable in their business, they lost money paying the VA to do work that actually didn't need to be done, that really was actually low priority. They lost time themselves because, of course, they had to try and negotiate and navigate this relationship, trying desperately to get it to work. Well, that was time that they weren't able to bill a client for. And then, in the end, the relationship had to terminate, and it didn't end very well. Like, nobody came away from that relationship feeling good about it. And ultimately, there were some hard feelings. It was a disconnection that was very disruptive. And, my client ultimately feels like it may have cost them some additional business. So there were ripple effects from not thinking strategically and not hiring the right individual with the right skills and being clear about the accountabilities. And so this is what can happen when we really don't think about our people strategy. And so the other side of that is the ROI can be extraordinary, right? Think about what having the right person in your business can really do to accelerate your results. It can transform the way our business plan rolls out. And what that does is actually creates more business. It creates happy clients. And when our clients are happy, they bring us more clients, and they bring us more of their own work, right? They become long-term clients. They know we can deliver. And on the other side of that, as a business owner, we actually know that we can trust someone to deliver the work the same way we would, right? With the same level of integrity, the same level of excellence, the same results that we would want to get. And so what we're able to do is actually maximize our time, right? Because in a small business, every hour counts, right? We are constantly under the gun to deliver. And when we have big business plans, we need to deliver more and more. So when we think about how having someone in our business that really fits and can be really exceptional at what they do, I think the third thing is it takes some of those pieces off our plate. So I don't know about you, but there's some things in my business that I should probably never touch again. And one of those things is my bookkeeping. I should not be allowed to go into QuickBooks, or at least very minimally, because that's not my skill set. I am not a trained bookkeeper, or certainly not an accountant. It's work that I don't enjoy. I don't get any pleasure out of. It's work that's actually very difficult for me because I don't want to do it. I don't have the skills or the training. And the truth is, in the end, I actually make sort of rookie mistakes, because in fact, it's just something that I should not be a part of. And having the right person that can actually deliver that work faster, more effectively, with greater insight, who can provide some analysis for me, who can deliver, beyond my expectation, allows me to do the work that I'm meant to do, right? The hours that I get to bill for that are really productive, that give me the most fulfillment, but also deliver the greatest results in my business. So that's the ROI of a people strategy, is everybody is doing the work that they actually have a zone of genius for. And when we do that, again, we're able to deliver great work. We feel fulfilled in that work. It's joyful work, right? We're happy to do it. We have passion for it. And when everyone around us has passion for the work they deliver, we get to do, as the business owner, the work we love. And then that's what really enables our business to grow. And when we're focused on a great business plan, when we're all very clear about our accountabilities, man, that's when the magic happens inside a business. I think, that's what's really powerful as a small business owner. So I see my friend Dawn from Greenhouse Creative has joined on Instagram. And she just said, love it, Lindsay. Such great thinking for those who need to make the big jump to grow and sustain growth. Thanks, Dawn, for that comment. I really love that. And that's the truth here, is the people strategy is the secret. It is the key to actually scaling and growing your business in a way that is manageable, it is organized, it's strategic, and it actually creates the results that you want. So how many of you comment, here on the live, wherever you are, how many of you, actually have heard that message that, you need to scale, you need to grow? That's something that's incredibly present in the market right now. I know I've certainly heard that, that, I need to scale to 6 figures, or scale to 7 figures, or scale beyond. Scaling your business is the only thing you need. I know it's something I've heard a lot. And yeah, constantly. Yeah, Julie's here with me on the live, and she said constantly. And I love that. It is a omnipresent message for those of us that are in, working in our own small business and as an entrepreneur. And there's nothing actually wrong with that message around scaling. And I think for many of us, we do have that big dream. And actually, that's part of being an entrepreneur, is having that big dream of growing something that's really impactful and really powerful. And for many of us, I mean, that's why we get in, to this entrepreneur space, is that we have a passion, we have a product or a service that we know we are really, we're really, just drawn to, right? We feel like it's something that everyone else needs to have or needs to experience. And I think the tricky part about hearing that message about scaling is that it really does not underpin the how. It really only speaks to our deep desires and passion. And I will tell you, I've seen a number of female entrepreneurs in particular both online and in my own practice over the last sort of 2 years, that have really embraced that ideal of scaling, right? Scale faster. And inevitably, what's happened is that in some way, shape, or form, it's actually burnt them out, right? Their businesses have grown. I mean, it is absolutely astronomical. Some of these organizations have had 200 or 300% growth. They've literally started from very little or nothing and just exploded. Well, that is a celebration, right? It looks fabulous on the outside. It is what all entrepreneurs want. 300% growth. I mean, that's ridiculous. But the truth is, on the inside, as a business owner, it is so very difficult to manage that and to sustain that in a meaningful way without absolutely burning yourself to the ground, and sacrificing so much of what you love in order to sustain the beast. And so, in speaking with some of some of these incredible female entrepreneurs that are in my network and in my consulting practice, one of the things that I have really talked with them about over and over again is that in this drive to scale their business, the piece that has so glaringly been missing is this idea of a strategy for their talent, their people strategy. That's the piece that's been missing. They've had exceptional marketing plans. They've had, the ability to raise capital and spend it, and the growth has really come at the front end. But the truth is, it is the idea of who is going to sustain that growth. Because as individual entrepreneurs or even small teams, it's very challenging for us to divide. We can't clone ourselves. It's that simple. And I know as business owners, we'd love to do that. So it's incredibly difficult to live through that growth and sustain that level of energy and engagement without actually having the people strategy to support it. We can't do that strategically if we don't think about it actually at the front end, right? And again, it's something I think that is so often missing inside of our small businesses. So if there's any other questions that you have about people and how you can grow, even if it's just about how you add your very first person, what's the right way to do that? We can totally talk about that here on the live today. Those are the kinds of questions that I would love to answer for all of you, because I think those are things that are incredibly present for so many of us, especially right now. So feel free to fire those into the chat wherever you're viewing this. I'm just going to double check Facebook over here. Yeah, Nancy's on Facebook Live. Thank you for the comments. If you treat your employees well, they'll reflect that in their work. And that really is the truth, right? When we have happy people in our organization, they make our clients happy. And when our clients are happy, again, they bring us more work and more clients. And ultimately, that results in incredible incredible revenue in our businesses. And so it is actually key to have the right people doing the right things and adding them to our business at the right time. I think that's the other important element that we miss, right? So I certainly see business owners that add they get themselves into a situation where they have to hire, but they don't have the time or the capacity to do the hiring. And that's a little tricky. Certainly there are organizations like High Voltage Leadership that can support clients in doing that recruitment piece. But the truth is, it actually can, it gets in the way. It's a little time consuming because we have to backtrack. We have to figure out who we need and what they are going to deliver. And then we have to go through a recruitment process. Like when we can get out ahead of that, when we can actually get out of working in our business and start working on the business, that's when we can think strategically. That's when we can think at the higher level. We can actually start to behave as a CEO, not as an employee, That's really critical. So when we can start working on the business, thinking at that CEO level, we can actually get a broader vision. What is happening? Q2, Q3, Q4, 2025. What is the plan? What is the outlook on our business? We can get ahead of it. We can find the right person, get them in at the time when it's going to be the most impactful. And then they can deliver for us. They're happy. They're doing meaningful work for us. They're seeing the results. That's highly motivational for all of us. We all want to know the work we're doing is important work and that's actually creating value. Everybody wants to do that. And that's ultimately what creates really happy people, as Nancy has said, right? I love it. Nancy, your comments are great. As the owner, you are the most expensive person in your organization. And it is important that you have the ability to delegate properly. So, this is one of the most key pieces that we have to think about as leaders in our organizations. And let's be clear. If you own a small business, if you are an entrepreneur, whether you have employees or contractors, if you have any kind of a team, you are a leader. In fact, even if you don't have contractors or employees that you work with, you're still leading. You're leading your clients, right? You're leading in your business every single day. But it's particularly key when you actually have others that deliver work for you, whether you happen to work with them on contract or you pay them as an employee in your business. You are a leader. And for many of us, I don't think we embrace that. I don't think we embrace that idea of being a leader. And when we start to think about things like our business plan and our people strategy, that's a leadership move. That's a strategic leadership move. Okay. So just want to clarify that for you. For some, that might be news. I don't know if you've thought about yourself like that before. But it is actually really important. And as Nancy says here, we are the most expensive person in our business. And so when we are actually doing tasks that we have no business doing, or we have no skill in doing, or really are outside of our zone of genius, the things we do best, we are costing the company money, right? So when I'm doing things like bookkeeping, I'm not coaching. And the truth is, the coaching is my zone of genius. The consulting work, that's my zone of genius, not the bookkeeping. It takes me longer and it's harder, and I probably don't do it well. I don't do it well. So I need to be doing what I do well. And so some of this really is a very personal journey as a leader. When we're thinking about our people strategy, we actually need to have our own mindset really clear, right? We need to embrace that we are a leader, and that means that we actually aren't a doer at certain times, right? So when I work with a client in one of my VIP people strategy accelerator sessions, that's one of the things we talk about is, as a leader, what's the work that you really love to do? What are the things that keep you feeling fulfilled and joyful? What are the pieces of the work in your business that maybe you don't want to get rid of? So, my friend Nancy here, who owns Blondie Baskets, a little shout out if you need a wonderful basket for some special event or special person in your life. That's the chick you want to talk to. Nancy loves sourcing locally made products from other small businesses, and she creates beautiful relationships with those vendors. She knows everything about not just the product, but why they make that product, what goes into making that product, what is special about the product. And then she brings that beautiful love to every basket, and they're so beautifully curated. Well, why would you want Nancy to stop doing that? Those relationships are absolutely key to her business, right? That's work that she absolutely needs to sustain. Because those relationships just get bigger and better as both businesses grow. But the truth is, when it comes to actually buying the baskets, well, maybe Nancy doesn't need to do all of that work anymore. Hint, hint, Nance. There is someone else that, given the right direction, the right accountability, and some clarity on Nancy's vision, they can go and find the right containers, the right baskets. So then they can create those beautiful curated experiences for her clients. Right. So that's a perfect example of how people strategy can really be leveraged in a small business. And I know Nancy's business has grown dramatically and she's adding team every month, every year. And it's all about finding the right people. So Nancy, thank you for being my beautiful example today. I really, really love your comments in the chat. Those are absolutely fantastic. So if there's anyone else, I know that there's some people that have just recently jumped on. If you have any questions or thoughts about your people strategy, how you want to grow and scale your business through team, if you are ready to do that, if that's on the agenda for 2024, pop your questions into the chat, whether you're on Instagram, you're on Facebook, or here with me on Zoom today. I would love to answer those questions about what that might look like and what you need help with, because the truth is it can be a little bit scary, right? So I don't know if any of you, I mean, for me, I'm doing the same thing. I'm in the same place. Got to take a deep breath because it's a little intimidating to add people into your business without, sometimes being clear about who those people might be. That can be a little tricky. I love it. Thank you all for all of your comments. These are absolutely fantastic. I want to tell you about a story, someone that I work with very closely, and I don't know if she's on here today. She, in fact, may be working. Her business has grown extraordinarily this year, and there's a reason why, because she is an absolutely fabulous human being. Her name is Jan Ditchfield. She's a business strategist that I have just spent the last several months working with. And I can tell you that, the strategy that she's brought to my business from an operations perspective has been absolutely fantastic. And I know Jan and I have had conversations about that, it's been tricky for her to hire in the past. And that she's openly admitted, and I hope I'm not outing her here. She's openly admitted that she's made some mistakes. She's hired the wrong person, and it's had real impacts, and it's left her feeling a little gun shy. She's hesitant. And this is a powerful businesswoman who's building a beautiful business. But I know there's moments when she feels a little hesitant about when she's going to add someone and how she needs to do that. But she also knows that for her business to grow, that she needs some people, the right people, to help her do that. It's gotten to the point where she has become the bottleneck. And I will tell you, that's not the only example I've heard just in the last week of a female founder who has grown a really great organization, who actually is recognizing that they are the holdup. They are actually in the way of their business growing in the way they deeply desire it to do, the plan that they already have. And that actually is a realization that is not easy to come to for any of us that are entrepreneurs and small business owners. That's a really, that's a tricky one to actually come to a place where you're ready to admit that actually, it's the Taylor Swift song, "Hi, I'm the problem. It's me." Yes, it could be. It could be. And so, there's lots of examples of that where business owners actually need, again, to step out of doing the work so that they can look at their business and work on it from the strategic perspective. And one of the most impactful things we can do, one of the things that will have the greatest ROI in terms of growing and scaling our organizations, is actually spending the time to think carefully about what is my people strategy? Who do I need? What are the skills and experience? What are the competencies and talents? Who is the right fit? with me and what I have already created to execute on this big, beautiful, bold business strategy that I have created, that I have in this vision that I have in my head. Who is it? Who is it that I need to help me deliver that? Right. And so that is exactly the work we do in my VIP People Strategy Accelerator sessions. So I have just created this new program because I see this gap. I see entrepreneurs who need to do this work, who absolutely need help in thinking about their team strategically. And again, this could be consultants or contractors. It could be part-time or full-time employees. It doesn't actually matter. If you have humans working in your business or you need humans to help you work in your business, you need a people strategy. It's really that simple. And again, it doesn't need to be complicated. We can develop a really robust people strategy in about 3.5 hours. The process is, sort of as I've articulated it. We need to talk about your values. We need to understand why they're important. We need to talk about your mission and, importantly, your vision, right? We need to understand what is at stake here. What are the foundational pieces of your organization? We need to talk about what's the work you're going to do. And then we also need to talk about what's the work you need to stop doing. What do you need to do in order to delegate that? Who do we need? When do we need them? We need to create a little organizational design for you, right? We need to understand what that is going to look like and the timing that needs to be executed so it lines up perfectly with your business plan and that scaling strategy you already have. And then that's a 3.5 hour job. And I love doing those because my clients walk away with a mural board, with a visual. You've already got access to the people strategy playbook. We take that and we dial that up. That is, that's the basics of what we do. And in 3.5 hours together, we create something that's really robust. It's totally actionable. And we start talking about when and how you're going to recruit those right people and what's the right timing. In the full day session, we actually get into execution. We start to talk about what's the organizational development strategy? What are the plans that you need and the programs and the processes that then are going to support those people as we bring them into the business? We get them up to speed really effectively. We do a great job with onboarding, and then we help really accelerate performance. And in those full day sessions that are about 6.5 hours, we actually get into a lot of leadership. Who do you need to be in order to create that incredible space for people to actually deliver? Inevitably that starts to formulate some of your culture. What's the culture in your business? How do you create a workplace where people feel like they belong and that their work is deeply valued? So if people strategy is on your radar for 2024, especially after this conversation today, I will drop a link so that you can check out my VIP accelerator programs. They are, super powerful way to really get your business plan activated, really bring it to life through the people that you are bringing into your business. I'm going to drop these links in here so you can take a look. I'd invite you to sign up for a half or a full day session. They're absolutely fabulous. We spend some one-on-one time together. Thank you very much to all of you for joining here today. If there's any other questions or comments, please drop those into the chat for me right now. I'd be happy to answer them as we have a few minutes left here this morning in the People Strategy Power Hour. Our inaugural session. This is session number 1. I'm going to be doing these on a regular basis because this is a topic that I am super passionate at talking about. So if you have any other comments, any questions, Nancy, thank you for your thoughts this morning. Thanks for letting me use you as an example. For my friend Dawn at Greenhouse Creative, love having you here. Julie's on the Zoom with me this morning. I see so many people on Instagram here with me, and I absolutely appreciate having you with me today. If you have any other thoughts or questions or you need some support, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can all send me a DM on whatever channel you feel the most comfortable with. And I look forward to seeing you again on the 15th. I'll be back here live on December the 15th, 10 a.m. Mountain, noon Eastern. So please come back and join me in 2 weeks' time. Bring your friends. If you know someone that's an entrepreneur, small business owner, and they've been struggling with this hiring thing, please invite them to come and join me live, and make sure to bring your questions, your thoughts, your comments, because today's session has been absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, everyone. Really appreciate having you with me today.